Sony versus Marvel. Boy, listen, I had to take a breath when I saw this headline. Now, I will say right up front, this is a rumor. This is still coming from Daniel Richmond. So you're still talking about somebody who has a track record of having some inside information. I do not expect Marvel to ever admit to this to being true. I don't expect, well, actually, Amy Pascal might mess around. And you know, I told y'all about Amy. Amy will tell y'all whatever y'all need to know. Okay. So she might spill the beans, but I don't expect this to ever come out of Marvel's mouth to ever admit to this. But it looks like we got beef in them Marvel streets, y'all. Woo-wee. Oh my goodness. Apparently, as you guys know, Marvel and Sony have a unique deal on the table. And I'm going to go over the deal a little bit later because I want to give people full context that just don't know. But just the quick gist of it is Marvel said, hey, yo, we see y'all struggling over there with Spider-Man. Let us help you. And when they first did the deal, they was like, look, we're going to put in that bread. We're going to help with the financing. We're going to make the movies for you. And you get to keep all the money. You get to keep all the box office yourself. Now, they did put in a little clause like, yo, we need some of that merchandise money back. But whatever. We'll make Spider-Man Homecoming for you. And you go ahead and you make all the money from it. Right? And as we've seen over time, part of that deal was also allowing Marvel to borrow Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Civil War, and Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, etc. Okay. And then, of course, we have the other Spider-Man movies. We'll get more into the history because that is important. Let's get to the rumor. Because I'm trying not to snap. I'm trying not to get mad at where this is going. It says here, according to insider Daniel Richmond, told y'all he's coming back, Sony wants to replicate some of No Way Home's box office glory by making Spider-Man 4 another huge multiverse adventure. The studio also wants to bring back Tobey Maguire, the GOAT, and Andrew Garfield's respective Spider-Mans for another crossover with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. However, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and Tom Holland are eager for Spider-Man 4 to be more grounded, similar to the first two entries in the Tom Holland Spider-Man trilogy. What does this mean? When you look at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, actually, forget the end. Let's go with the beginning. Spider-Man No Way Home was a fantastic film. It was probably one of the best movies in phase 4 that, you know, even though Marvel was kind of struggling, it was one of the best movies out there, right? And it was definitely probably one of the best Spider-Man in that trilogy as well for live action. The movie went on to make over $1 billion. Like, and that was during a pandemic. So it was really, really good accomplishment in that case. We got to see 3 Spider-Man on screen, and we had never dreamed of seeing something like that. We got to see the GOAT Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, come back out of retirement. We saw Andrew Garfield come back, get full redemption, and Tom Holland go to town and get his butt whooped by a Green Goblin. Boy, Goblin tore that little boy up. Did y'all see them suplexes and powerbomb? Goblin was a problem. That man was a menace. Okay. The movie was a success. Nobody's debating that. So you can see how Sony would be like, yo, run it back. Let's do it again. Let's go. But if you recall at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, after all the multiverse shenanigans and the big old spell from Doctor Strange and all that, what happened? Everybody forgot who he was. You know, his loved ones are no longer there. And Spider-Man got a fresh, clean start. He even got a new suit. He ain't got all, look, Tony Stark ain't there no more. Nobody's there to help him no more. He is by himself. Spider-Man is not out there jumping on spaceships and in Endgame, going to space He ain't out there getting dusted. He's not jumping in multiverse portals and nothing. He ain't doing none of that. He is now your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in Queens, New York. Sony, and I don't think I'm going to get invited to any Sony premieres after I say this. Sony, please be quiet. Sony, I don't need you weighing in on live action Spider-Man at all. Sony, I need you to turn around and go right there in the corner. Be quiet, close your eyes, and count the money that Marvel is making for you. Because right now, you ain't got two legs to stand on when it comes to live action Spider-Man. Not at all. And if you thought I was going to sit here and say this without receipts, oh, you must be new to this channel. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. Because I will never, ever forget what happened from the top Sony executives, the decision makers. I remember. You thought I forgot, but I remember what y'all said. Some of y'all don't know. We need to go. Let's go. Let's go. There was a time after Spider-Man Homecoming. Nah, let's go back even further. Y'all remember Amazing Spider-Man? Amazing Spider-Man came out with Andrew Garfield. It was fine. It was okay. You know, wasn't my Spider-Man, but it was. I didn't hate it. Movie came out, made at like $700 million. That's not a bad number. But that's it. Then Sony came out and said, you know what? We're going to run it back, run that sequel. And Sony said they made the sequel and got like $750 million. Now, to the average person, you might be thinking, yo, $700 million, that's a lot of bread. That's a lot of money. That sounds good to me. No, it ain't. Not when you have arguably one of the top 3 fictional superheroes of all time. Spider-Man is in the same seat, the same conversation as Batman and Superman. I told y'all, that's an underwear hero. When little kids wear you on their underwear, you popular. When your grandma, your auntie, your cousin, everybody know who this fictional character is, you on top. So you mean to tell me y'all had the most popular fictional character or top 3 and y'all couldn't crack $1 billion? Y'all couldn't do it? So Sony was always underperforming with an A-town play, like just a franchise player. That's like having, you got a fresh, young LeBron James on your team and you can't make the playoffs? Playoffs? Y'all can't do the playoffs? I'm not saying you got to win, but you can't make the playoffs with LeBron James? Now, I normally wouldn't have much of an issue because movies are hard to make. Sometimes you're going to hit, sometimes you're not. But what I'm not going to forgive was when Sony came out with the gall, with the unmitigated gall and nerve to sit here and really think that they could do it by themselves. They said, man, we don't need no help. No, we can do this. I'm not making that up. These are quotes. Some of y'all might have forgotten. This was in 2019. Let's go here. Spider-Man standoff. Why Sony thinks it doesn't need Kevin's playbook anymore. Oh, yeah, that's right. They got a little too big for their britches. They really thought that they did not need Kevin Feige's help. Now, this is at the premiere at Spider-Man Far From Home. And I'm going to just go through this just to give people some reminders. Disney had been seeking a co-financing agreement on upcoming movies, looking for at least a 30% stake in the film. Sony, which counts Spider-Man as one of its only reliable money-making franchises, said no. Keep in mind, Marvel came in, said, we gonna just make the movie for you damn near for free. And you keep all the box office. Marvel came in with Homecoming and made more money on that first go round than 1 or 2 of Amazing Spider-Man. And the next time Marvel said, can we just get 30% of a cut? And we'll put a little money in. And Sony was like, nah. Let me ask y'all something. If somebody said, I'm going to come to your job and I'm going to do your work for you, and you get to stay home, collect the paycheck, and you ain't got to do nothing for a year. Who, which one of y'all not gonna take that deal? Is anybody gonna take that deal? You still get your full income, you still get all your time off, all your vacation, you get all of the benefits. Somebody said, I would like to take your job and work it for you. You go home and collect them checks. And then, how about this? That person that came and did that job for you, that you are still collecting, they did the job so well that you ended up getting a raise. How you get a raise and you ain't show up for work? So now that person says like, yo, now that we got a raise, can I get 10, 20%? Keep in mind, you still making more money than you ever made before, and you ain't working a lick. Who's saying no to this? Where is this business sense coming from? Far From Home would go on to catch a cool $1.1 billion, becoming Sony's biggest movie of all time. Sony execs believed they didn't need Disney anymore. And they tried to shift it. They tried it. Sony laying the blame at Disney's feet, saying that the Burbank-based studio now had Feige too busy to work on future movies. Too busy. Sony said, we hope this might change in the future, but understand that the many new responsibilities that Disney has given Kevin Feige, including all their newly added Marvel properties, do not allow him for him to work on IP they do not own. How you gonna tell the person that's coming in to do the work for you that they doing too much and you don't want to collect the free money that they working for on your behalf? What are you saying? If Kevin Feige, God forbid, was handicapped, he still would make a better movie than whatever y'all tried to make. Oh, and by the way, Kevin Feige, he did not get a producing fee, nor did Feige, Disney did not get a producing fee, nor did Feige for the initial deal. So in other words, Kevin Feige was working for y'all for free. For free. Pretty much. Disney too. And they only made you $880 million for Homecoming. And here's the thing. Okay, hold on. Let me get to the comments first. Let me get to what he actually says first. Tom Rothman, this is the executive at Sony. One of the insiders says here, Tom is thinking, okay, we've learned everything we need from Kevin's playbook. We did Venom on our own, and we did Spider-Verse. Now, let me be fair. Venom made a lot of money. I don't think Venom was good. I don't think it was good at all. But it did make a lot of money. And at the end of the day, a lot of these executives, they don't care if it's bad. They just care about the money at the end of the day. So I get that. But imagine trying to brag on Venom as your crowning achievement. Marvel sat here and took your prize property, made you more money than you ever could have ever tried to make, and y'all finna sit here and brag on Venom. Then y'all also gonna follow up with Venom 2. What? Venom 2? And then you gonna double down on that with Morbius? In what planet do you feel like you can give anybody advice on live action Spider-Mans? Now, this is why I said I'm going to be very specific here, live action, because Spider-Verse is one of the best Spider-Man properties to date. So I will give Sony credit for that. Shout out to the Spider-Verse, because, man, when you let Lord and Miller cook, boy, them guys going to make some magic. So they got that right. I will give them props on that all day. I wish they'd take that same energy and put it in their live action, because I don't know what the hell they doing with their live action. But in case y'all didn't know, while Sony thought that they just didn't need Kevin Feige, you have to understand where that came from. Back in they made that comment in 2019. Back in 2015, for those of you that recall, before that whole Sony deal with Marvel happened, there was a big email leak that ended up happening. This is why Amy Pascal got fired and, all this stuff happened, and it kind of led to them making their deals, but this was a big problem. In the Sony email leaks, you literally had Kevin Feige, after he saw Amazing Spider-Man, and this man, I guess he saw like a screener, or maybe he saw some of the production going on with Amazing Spider-Man 2. This man went out of his way to literally give a list of recommendations on how to make Amazing Spider-Man better. A whole list. And the email is available too, by the way. You can go look it up. This man, and I'm not going to read, look, these are all the things Kevin Feige put in the email. All of these things to help make the movie better. Just a couple of things here. There are too many storylines. Let the danger stakes in New York build before you have Spider-Man enter the scene heroically. Tone down Paul Giamatti's stupid Rhino performance so he seems a little bit more menacing and less cartoonish. Didn't nobody care about Rhino? He goes on. There's so many more things. Andrew's performance is all over the place. A lot of crying and then a lot of mania. Don't like the idea of Aunt May telling Peter his parents were spies, because 2 seconds later he finds out that they are not, and it again fights with the idea that he's an ordinary kid. Absolutely. That whole thing of Peter and his kids and his parents being spies, that was stupid to me. That was always stupid. What else he say? Spider-Man needs to feel more directly responsible for preventing the planes from crashing. Kevin Feige was literally doing the job that other people get paid to do, and he did it for free. I've been told y'all, Kevin is one of the nicest nerds I've ever met. He loves Spider-Man. He really, really genuinely cares about the character. He knows the character inside and out, the stories, all of that. And this man was so passionate that he actually tried to help Sony for free. For free. How you got to be in a certain type of mindset to help the competition. Okay. And Sony had the balls to sit here and say, we got it. Everything Kevin Feige said in those emails, Sony went and did the opposite. And what did they get? Amazing Spider-Man 2. Something that underperformed. Imagine if they had listened to him last time, before. There probably wouldn't be a Sony Marvel deal. But then you want to sit here and say, oh, we know the playbook. What playbook? Kevin Feige don't have a playbook. You're making the same mistake that DC made. For those of y'all that don't recall, back when Avengers was taking over, the first Avengers movie, DC was getting real nervous. DC was like, wait a minute, how come, how come if Avengers could make $1 billion, we could make $1 billion? All we got to do is copy Marvel's formula. There is no formula. Marvel does not have a formula. I literally just talked to y'all about Daredevil Born Again and how they was like, man, the approach we took with that before ain't working. We got to do something different. You can't copy somebody that don't have a system or a formula. They're always changing. And if you don't recognize that, you're doomed to fail. You are doomed to fail. What y'all do with Amazing Spider-Man? 71%, 77%. Not a bad movie. Not bad. But for Spider-Man, this is it. Amazing Spider-Man 2, yikes, trashed. And you went lower. And you made less money. You made more money, but you didn't maximize that profit. Then you dropped Venom. Yeah, you made money, but man, that movie was not good. Spider-Verse, definitely a win. Absolute win. Good job. Wish you do that with live action. Venom 2, why was this even made? Why was this made? And by the way, I told y'all, don't just be looking at this. Look at how many people saw Venom. You had 25,000 people that was like, I like Venom so much, I'm going to rate it. You had 10,000 that was like, man, whatever. Whatever. They didn't even care. Morbius. You have 5,000 people that showed this has got to be one of your worst movies. How are we supposed to trust you with stuff? And I thought you had the playbook. I thought you knew what you was doing. Spider-Verse, yes, a win for sure. Yes. And look at what Marvel did. First time, 90s. Look at that, 50,000 people, 90s. Fans and, critics agreed. What we get with No Way Home, 90s, thousands, fans and critics. Let's look at the numbers. When you look at all the Spider-Man movies, worldwide box office, No Way Home, thank you, Marvel. Far From Home, thank you, Marvel. Spider-Man 3, but the movie was terrible. Okay, but that was in '07. Spider-Man Homecoming, thank you, Marvel. And the only time you can go back to Sony doing stuff is back in the early 2000s. Amazing Spider-Man 2, only 750, all the way down here. Marvel is already showing you're not in your league. You don't know what you're doing, and all we're doing is making you literally more money. More money every time. And this is what y'all have to show us. Venom 3, Craven, Madam Web. I'm supposed to trust you with that? There's a very strong possibility that Sony could single-handedly destroy the comic book movie genre in 2024. I already told y'all I don't believe in the whole comic book fatigue, superhero fatigue. But if them movies continue the trend that they have been continuing, they will put out all the superhero movie fatigue articles immediately. And it's not going to be a coincidence. It's not. I've told y'all this before. Because it's always been an issue of quality and not of quantity or timing. But if we get 3 boo-boo Sony movies back to back to back, and we only got 1 Marvel movie with Deadpool, which I do think will be great, this is going to be a problem. If Beyond the Spider-Verse don't come out this year either, it's going to be a problem, which I don't think it will. Sony could single-handedly take everything down. They could. So when it comes to this whole rumor of trying to have a grounded Spider-Man versus a multiverse and stuff, first of all, you ain't tired of multiverse yet? You haven't noticed that Marvel's trying to get a little bit out of that, but you want to double down on that? It's like, no. Trying to go back to that will undo what happened in that beautiful moment that was created in No Way Home. We don't need that. Let that live in that perfect little bubble that we've had. We don't need to go back. Now, if you want to do what we've always been saying, go and use Andrew in something else. Go and use Tobey in something else. We don't need a multiverse adventure. We don't need another crossover, because now it's not going to make No Way Home ain't going to feel as special as it was before. I want to see what a Spider-Man can do when he ain't got a whole armor suit and he ain't got like a wizard and sorcerer to help him and all. Like, I want to see a neighborhood Spider-Man. That's literally what made this kid popular. That's literally why Stan Lee created him, to be a relatable superhero that has regular everyday problems. If this rumor is true, this lets me know Sony doesn't get it. The powers that be, you don't understand why these characters are the way they are. You don't understand why they are relatable. Because if you think in your head the best way to get more money is to do what worked before, in terms of let's double down on the whole crossover thing, that lets me know that you don't know what you're doing at all. You just think, hey, throw more money, do more of the shiny things, and that's it. That's not what makes Spider-Man great. What makes him great is his personal story and his development. Not the fact that he's a multiverse, not the fact that, he has all these variants. That's not, that was cool, but we're not going to keep doing that and playing it out. Anyway, what do y'all think about all this stuff? What do you think about the rumor with Spider-Man? Do you feel, you let your vote be known? Do you think they should go with a more spectacular variant multiverse route? Or do you think maybe they should scale it down, keep it grounded? There was rumors that Kingpin would show up, maybe. Is that something you would like to see? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.